Immediately after I got fired, something happened to me that made me unable to physically even get off the couch. Losing my job, losing my ability to make money, having to move in with my parents shocked my nervous system to a point so much that I couldn't even function. I would literally take my kids to school, come back, be on the couch until I had to go pick them up. I just couldn't even function. And it took me months of being on the couch. And you know what got me off the couch? I saw a documentary called Finding Joe. And in that documentary, people were talking about the hero's journey. And there were a few people that said the same exact words. I couldn't get myself off a couch. That was the darkness. That was the forest that we had to walk into. And when you're on the hero's journey, which is what I was on at that time in my life, in the beginning, you resist it because it's terrifying. My whole life shattered, but the new life wasn't built yet. And it was in this in between. And I just could not let go of my old life, even though I was praying for things to change because I was done being a financial advisor. I had had that conversation with God 2 days before I got fired. I literally said, whatever needs to happen to get me from where I am to having my own training company to speaking on global stages, bring it. In fact, I screamed at the top of my lungs, bring it. I was so frustrated because I had this dream inside of me. And then within a couple days, he brought it. Oh, and I was like, no, 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 no. That's not what I wanted it to look like, And I was stuck in the past. And when I saw that documentary, it made me realize, oh, this is happening for me. This is happening for me. And I started little by little, it didn't happen overnight, but I started to surrender. I started to, I can't say relax, but I just started to not hold on so tightly to my old life. And that's when I started being open to learning like what was wrong with me? Like why do I have this anxiety? Why do I make these careless choices? How did I end up here? Like why is it my life historically 3 steps forward, 4 steps back, right? Like why was I constantly back to stuck being in struggle? And that all of a sudden, what you focus on expands. I started finding books like The Body Keeps Score and just learning everything I could about how our early experiences, and I had a ton of adversity as an immigrant latchkey kid living in poverty and neglect and, with a lot of instability and fear and violence around me on a daily basis. My nervous system was wired for fear. It was altered. And so, one of my favorite reminders is what we experience in childhood, what we feel in childhood, we make real in adulthood. And so, I literally was always anxious, always nervous. And it was even many years after that that I realized that it even went deeper than that. Mine didn't begin in that early adversity period of my life, mine came from my lineage. Mine was wired in my DNA because I am the daughter of a Holocaust survivor. And I am the granddaughter of 4 Holocaust survivors. And so my wiring, my DNA, my nervous system was altered just like my father's. Even though I did not participate in the Holocaust, I wasn't even around, on a cellular level, my nervous system, my stress response was the same as my father's, as if I had gone through it. And then add the childhood adversity on top of that. So no wonder I grew up to be a high achieving, high performing, perfectionist, people pleasing, workaholic, addicted, all the things. No wonder. And I ran that way for a long time. I had great energy. My energy is my superpower. And so I did it for 15 years. I ran like that, just the next thing, constantly chasing achievement, the next higher goal. Like I couldn't even feel proud of myself when I reached that level of achievement. When I finished first in the company, like, yeah, the night of the awards, I was excited, but there was a disconnect. Like, it wasn't fulfillment. It was a high that was fake because the next day I had the next year that I had to put up numbers for. And that's all I saw as an immigrant, my parents pushing themselves. That's what I did. I just continued to push myself. I didn't see the signs. And so watching that documentary, realizing it was happening for me, took me on a path of starting to raise my awareness and heal my nervous system. And I share this because I think so many of us are going through a hero's journey, especially in midlife and all stages of life. And oftentimes it happens because we're not on the right path. We're not doing the things we came to do. We're not sharing the music that we came to share. And I wasn't, and I could feel it. But see, God knew that unless I had that kind of abrupt ending, I would have never left the financial services. I was making way too much money. How do you walk away from that kind of money? Like, like, what do I do? So it had to be like that in order for me to walk away and to see that I couldn't continue the same path. I couldn't continue the same way. And so today I have deep gratitude for that season of my life because my world as I knew it came open and it was time. We can't keep running in survival mode. Survival mode robs us of our joy, our peace, our dreams, our productivity. And you can't put a price tag on those things. And we cannot become what we came to be. We can't have the courage and the vulnerability to share the gifts that we came to share when we're in survival mode. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing my story and raising awareness about survival mode. Because no one ever mentioned it to me during my corporate years. No leader, no colleague. We didn't know. Even when the market crashed in '08 and we were all in survival mode every minute of the day. I remember my leaders, bless their heart, brought in a motivational speaker, and he was phenomenal. He was a great speaker, but his whole message was just be positive. You cannot just be positive in survival mode. Sorry, like it's not going to happen, right? You have to understand survival mode. You have to see the wiring. You have to understand where it came from and what you need to do in that moment to break free. See, even after all these years of healing and rewiring and understanding, there's still things that I can feel my anxiety coming up, that I can go into a dark place. The difference is I have an awareness to what's happening. I have a toolbox that if I choose to use those tools, I know that my freedom, my relief is right around the corner. And that is how I have my agency. That is how I step into my sovereignty from survival to sovereignty. And so, if you're still here watching with me, friends, if this resonates with you, if you felt called to watch this video and something about what I said connected with you and inspired you and gave you an ounce of hope, which is my goal here, then make sure you subscribe, like, share. More people need to hear this. If you know someone who's struggling right now, share my story, share my mistake, share my transformation and the framework that I created to help others